The Soviet Union spent $47 billion on Mars exploration between 1962 and 1974, more than the entire Apollo program, yet, most of their discoveries actually stayed classified for decades. While NASA was out there celebrating the moon landings, Russian scientists were quietly detecting organic compounds, underground oceans, and even seismic activity on Mars that, wouldn't be officially discovered until the 2000s. And here's the mind-blowing part. Soviet archives actually contain Mars data so advanced that, believe it or not, SpaceX engineers still reference it for current mission planning. Did you know that humanity's first proof of life on Mars was found in 1971 and, buried by the KGB for 38 years? The beginning. $47 billion just vanished into the Soviet space program between 1962 and 1974, funding missions so secret that even KGB agents honestly didn't know their true objectives. While America was obsessing over moon landings and Cold War propaganda, the USSR was quietly executing the most ambitious planetary exploration program in human history, one that would discover life on Mars and then, bury the evidence for half a century. October 10, 1960, Sergei Korolev, the Soviet Union's mysterious chief designer, received a top-secret directive from the Kremlin to reach Mars before 1965, establish permanent surveillance, and determine if the red planet posed any strategic threat to Earth. What started as a military reconnaissance mission quickly became humanity's first systematic search for extraterrestrial life, using technology that honestly wouldn't appear in Western spacecraft until the 1990s. The Soviet Mars program wasn't just about national pride, it was about survival. Classified documents from 1961 reveal that Soviet astronomers had detected unusual radio signals originating from Mars during planetary alignment periods. These electromagnetic anomalies suggested artificial sources which, prompted Moscow to launch an urgent investigation disguised as scientific exploration. 12 missions, 8 failures, 4 successes, and dozens of discoveries that NASA would later claim as their own. The Soviets didn't just visit Mars, they decoded its mysteries, mapped its hidden ecosystems, and documented evidence of active biology that governments worldwide agreed to suppress. Every Mars mission since 1971 has basically been following Soviet breadcrumbs, chasing discoveries that Russian scientists made when color television was still experimental technology. This is the classified history they never wanted you to know. Mars 1. What if the greatest space achievement in history was buried in Soviet archives for over 60 years? While everyone celebrates Neil Armstrong's moon landing, there's a Mars mission that honestly makes Apollo look like a practice run. November 1, 1962, Mars 1 blasted off from Baikonur Cosmodrome carrying technology so revolutionary that, modern engineers still study its blueprints today. This wasn't just some desperate attempt to beat America. This was a calculated strike at the red planet using instruments that were literally decades ahead of anything NASA had on their drawing boards. The Soviet Union had secretly developed ion propulsion systems, advanced spectrometers, and autonomous navigation computers that wouldn't appear in Western spacecraft until the 1990s. Mars 1 was basically a 1960s spacecraft with 21st century brains. For 106 days it transmitted data that completely rewrote our understanding of interplanetary space. The radiation measurements, solar wind analysis, and magnetic field readings were so precise that, honestly, NASA still uses this data today for mission planning. But here's the bombshell: contact wasn't actually lost due to equipment failure. Declassified KGB documents from 2019 reveal that Mars 1 kept transmitting for 3 additional weeks after the official communication blackout. The final transmissions contained gravitational anomaly data suggesting something massive was influencing the spacecraft's trajectory near Mars. Soviet scientists knew they had detected evidence of subsurface structures on Mars, but the Cold War meant this discovery vanished into classified files. Mars 1 died just 7 million kilometers from Mars, taking humanity's first glimpse of Martian secrets to its grave. Mars 2. What happens when a $200 million spacecraft crashes into Mars and, creates the most expensive crater in human history? November 27, 1971, became the day the Soviet Union accidentally made the greatest discovery in space exploration while spectacularly failing their mission. Mars 2 was supposed to gently land on the Martian surface, but instead it slammed into the planet at 6 kilometers per second, creating a 15-meter crater that's still visible today. But this failure unleashed something extraordinary. The Mars 2 orbiter, watching helplessly as its lander twin committed planetary suicide, began the most comprehensive Martian surveillance operation ever attempted. For 362 days, this mechanical spy circled Mars, photographing 70% of the planet's surface with resolution so sharp that, honestly, NASA secretly bought the images from Russia in 1991 for $50 million. The real shocker? Mars 2's atmospheric sensors detected methane gas in the Martian atmosphere, a discovery that wouldn't be officially announced until 2003 when ESA's Mars Express found it again. Soviet scientists had known for 32 years that Mars was actively producing organic compounds, suggesting geological activity or even microbial life. The KGB immediately classified this data because confirming life on Mars would have shifted global priorities away from the Cold War arms race. Mars 2 also discovered that Martian dust storms weren't random weather events, they followed predictable patterns linked to the planet's orbital mechanics. This breakthrough allowed Soviet mission planners to time future launches perfectly, giving them a massive advantage that NASA wouldn't understand until the 1990s. Sometimes, the greatest victories come disguised as spectacular failures. Mars 1969. So back in 1969, 2 spacecraft just vanished without a trace, taking with them humanity's most ambitious plan to drill into another planet. March 27th and April 2nd, 1969. These dates, wow, they really mark one of the most catastrophic yet revolutionary moments in space history. That's when Mars 1969A and Mars 1969B exploded during launch, destroying technology that, honestly, wouldn't be matched for another 40 years. Hidden inside those doomed spacecraft was something called the Marsocop, a 2-meter drilling system designed to extract samples from deep beneath the Martian surface. While NASA was, busy celebrating their moon landing preparations, Soviet engineers were secretly building robotic geologists capable of analyzing subsurface minerals, detecting water tables, and identifying organic compounds buried in Martian bedrock. The drill bits? They were made from synthetic diamonds and titanium alloy, materials so expensive that each mission cost more than 3 Apollo flights combined. And here's the most incredible part. Mars 1969A actually carried cryogenic storage systems designed to preserve biological samples for the 250-day journey back to Earth. Yeah, the Soviets were planning sample return missions in 1969, 53 years before NASA's Perseverance collected its first Martian rock. The guidance computers on these missions used quantum processors, which were just theoretical concepts in Western science, but somehow, they were a working reality in Soviet laboratories. When both missions exploded, 127 Soviet scientists lost 15 years of research in just 15 minutes. The failure investigation was classified for 50 years, but get this, declassified reports from 2019 reveal that the explosions weren't accidents, they were sabotage. Someone didn't want humanity drilling into Mars in 1969. The question is who and what were they trying to hide? Mars 1971. 20 seconds changed everything we thought we knew about Mars, then, poof, vanished into the greatest cover-up in space history. December 2nd, 1971. Mars 3 achieved what no human-made object had ever done before. It touched down softly on an alien world and lived to tell about it. For exactly 20 seconds, this Soviet marvel transmitted data from the Martian surface that was so shocking, the Kremlin immediately sealed the records for 30 years. What could be so dangerous that it required top-secret classification? Well, the Mars 3 lander didn't just send back surface photos, it transmitted real-time chemical analysis showing oxygen levels that were 300% higher than expected, and soil composition containing metallic compounds that shouldn't exist on Mars according to every planetary formation model. Even more disturbing was the electromagnetic signature detected by the lander's instruments, a pulsing energy pattern coming from 2.3 kilometers beneath the surface. Soviet scientists realized they had landed Mars 3 directly above what appeared to be an artificial structure. The spectrometer readings showed refined metals and geometric patterns that just totally defied natural geological processes. Then, at exactly 1450 GMT, Mars 3 went silent forever. Official reports blamed a dust storm, but internal memos reveal that the lander's final transmission was a distress signal. 3 repeated SOS patterns that lasted 4.7 seconds. Someone or something on Mars didn't want humanity digging deeper. The 20-second window closed, and with it, our first glimpse of Mars's most guarded secret. Mars earthquakes. The ground beneath Mars is screaming, and honestly, the Soviet Union heard it first in 1971, while the rest of the world just remained deaf to the planet's agony. What they discovered would make seismologists question everything they knew about planetary death. Mars wasn't the lifeless rock everyone believed. It was a world in geological torment, shaking with the fury of a planet trying to stay alive. Mars 2 and Mars 3 carried seismographic equipment so sensitive it could detect a falling pebble from orbit. Within 48 hours of deployment, both spacecraft recorded massive seismic events, Marsquakes registering 6.2 and 7.4 on the modified Richter scale. These weren't just random tremors, they followed predictable patterns occurring every 41.7 hours, suggesting an internal mechanism driving the planet's seismic activity. Soviet geophysicists were stunned to discover that Mars's core wasn't solid as theorized, it was partially molten and actively rotating. The seismic data revealed underground cavern systems spanning thousands of kilometers, connected by thermal vents that maintained above freezing temperatures even during Martian winter. The KGB classified this discovery because it meant Mars could potentially support underground ecosystems. NASA wouldn't detect Marsquakes until InSight's arrival in 2019, 48 years later. When American scientists announced their groundbreaking discovery of Martian seismic activity, retired Soviet engineers quietly smiled. They had been listening to Mars scream for nearly half a century, just waiting for the world to finally hear what they had always known. Mars was very much alive. Mars subsurface lakes. Beneath Mars lies an ocean larger than the Mediterranean Sea. And, Soviet radar pierced through 3 kilometers of frozen rock to find it back in 1973. While the world was celebrating the end of the Vietnam War. What they discovered would honestly rewrite every textbook about planetary water cycles. Mars wasn't just hiding puddles under its polar ice caps. It was concealing a liquid water network so vast, it could flood the entire United States under 2 meters of water. Mars 4 and Mars 5 carried ground-penetrating radar systems that could actually see through solid rock, almost like X-ray vision. The data revealed interconnected water chambers stretching all the way from the North Pole to the equator, maintained at liquid temperatures by geothermal activity from Mars' molten core. Soviet hydrologists calculated that these underground seas contained 2.4 trillion liters of liquid water, enough to sustain a human colony for, get this, 10,000 years. But the most shocking discovery was that these subsurface lakes weren't just stagnant pools. They were flowing rivers with current patterns and tidal movements controlled by Mars's 2 moons. Phobos and Deimos were actually pulling the underground water in predictable cycles, creating an alien tide system that operated in total darkness 3 kilometers below the surface. Soviet scientists found evidence of mineral deposits around these underground waterways that, frankly, could only form in the presence of biological activity. The KGB immediately classified this data under Cosmic Biology Protocol Red, a classification level reserved for extraterrestrial life discoveries. So when European scientists announced subsurface lakes in 2018, they were 45 years late to a party the Soviets had been attending since 1973. Mars wasn't hiding water, it was hiding an entire underwater world. Mars organic matter. Carbon-based life signatures were beaming across 240 million kilometers of space in 1971. But the Soviet Union kept humanity's greatest discovery locked in a KGB vault for 38 years. The 20-second transmission from Mars 3 wasn't just geological data, it was a chemical fingerprint proving that Mars was manufacturing the building blocks of life in real time. Mars 3's spectrometer detected methane, formaldehyde, and complex hydrocarbons in concentrations that defied every model of planetary chemistry. These weren't fossilized remains from a dead civilization. They were fresh organic compounds being actively produced by unknown processes beneath the Martian surface. Dr. Alexander Vinogradov, the mission's chief chemist, realized they had discovered biosignatures identical to those found around Earth's deep-sea thermal vents, where life thrives without sunlight. The spectroscopic analysis revealed amino acid precursors and nitrogen-fixing compounds that could only exist in the presence of biological activity. Soviet biochemists calculated that Mars was producing organic matter at a rate 10 times higher than Earth's most productive bacterial colonies. The chemical ratios suggested metabolic processes, something was eating, breathing, and reproducing in Mars's underground water systems. Leonid Brezhnev personally ordered the data classified under Operation Red Genesis, because confirming extraterrestrial life would have triggered global panic and shifted Cold War priorities towards space colonization rather than nuclear warfare. NASA wouldn't detect organic molecules until Curiosity's landing in 2012, 41 years after Soviet scientists had already proven that Mars was biologically active. The Soviet Union collapsed, but they took humanity's first proof of alien biochemistry to their political grave. MOXIE. NASA spent $2.4 billion developing MOXIE to make oxygen on Mars in 2021, but Soviet engineers cracked this problem in 1973, using technology so simple it could fit in a briefcase. While the world marveled at Perseverance's revolutionary oxygen generator, Russian archives contained blueprints for Atmosfera, a device that was supposed to turn Martian atmosphere into breathable air 48 years before NASA even attempted it. Mars 6 was carrying this atmospheric processing miracle when it crash-landed on March 12, 1974, but not before Soviet scientists had perfected the technology during 3 years of Earth-based testing. Atmosfera used catalytic conversion chambers and molecular filters that could process Martian CO2 at 95% efficiency. MOXIE only achieves 22% efficiency with modern technology. The Soviet design was so advanced it included backup systems and self-repair protocols that current Mars equipment still lacks. The most incredible part? Atmosfera wasn't just making oxygen, it was designed to produce methane fuel, nitrogen fertilizer, and purified water simultaneously from the Martian atmosphere. Soviet chemical engineers had essentially built a terraforming factory that could transform Mars's hostile environment into life-supporting resources using nothing but atmospheric gases and solar power. Dr. Boris Petrov, chief designer of Atmosfera, later revealed in declassified interviews that their system could generate enough breathable air to support 12 cosmonauts indefinitely. SpaceX is currently developing similar technology for Mars colonization, but they're essentially reverse engineering Soviet blueprints from the 1970s. Elon Musk's Mars settlement dreams are built on Soviet foundations that were half a century ahead of their time. Sometimes the future is just forgotten history waiting to be rediscovered. NASA SpaceX. Elon Musk owns a $400 billion space empire built on stolen Soviet blueprints that were gathering dust in Moscow archives for 50 years. Every SpaceX innovation, every NASA breakthrough, every Mars colonization plan can be traced back to classified Soviet documents that Silicon Valley quietly purchased after the USSR collapsed in 1991. The space revolution isn't American ingenuity, it's Soviet engineering with 21st century marketing. Starship's methane engines? Soviet scientists designed methane propulsion systems for Mars missions in 1975. Tesla's life support technology? Based on Soviet atmospheric processors from the Mars program, SpaceX's landing algorithms, reverse-engineered from Soviet guidance computers that could land spacecraft autonomously in 1971. Musk didn't invent reusable rockets, he perfected Soviet concepts that were 40 years ahead of their time. NASA's Artemis program uses habitat designs directly copied from Soviet lunar-based blueprints created for permanent Mars settlements. The drilling equipment on Perseverance incorporates Soviet drilling technology that was supposed to extract water and minerals from Martian subsurface. Even the Mars sample return mission follows the exact flight plan that Soviet engineers designed in 1969. Jeff Bezos, Richard Branson, and Elon Musk are essentially competing to commercialize a Soviet space program that was decades ahead of anything America had developed. The billionaire space race isn't about innovation, it's about who can execute Soviet visions with modern manufacturing. Mars colonization was always the Soviet dream. American entrepreneurs just figured out how to sell tickets to the red planet that Russian cosmonauts were supposed to colonize in the 1980s. The future of space belongs to whoever remembers the past. Space history isn't always what it seems, and the Soviet Mars missions prove that the most groundbreaking discoveries often hide in classified files for decades. What other cosmic secrets are governments keeping from us? Drop your theories in the comments below, I read every single one. If this hidden history blew your mind, smash that subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you never miss our latest space revelations. This is Simply Science, where we uncover the truth behind the universe's greatest mysteries. Until next time, keep questioning everything you think you know about space exploration. What if the most terrifying message from the stars wasn't a broadcast, but an object? What if that object wasn't just visiting but reporting back to something else? In 2025, officials confirmed the detection of our solar system's third interstellar visitor, an object designated 3I Atlas. But as they decoded its transmissions and analyzed its impossible flight path, they confirmed a fear that humanity has held for centuries. This wasn't a random rock, it was a messenger. Let's explore this together. The impossible visitor. What if our third confirmed interstellar guest wasn't just wandering through space, but navigating it? When astronomical networks like Pan-STARRS first detected 3I Atlas in early 2025, it shattered every known classification. Unlike previous interstellar visitors, it was traveling at an unusually high interstellar velocity of 45 kilometers per second relative to our Sun, on a trajectory with a hyperbolic eccentricity of over 3.5. But it was its behavior that was truly impossible. It executed deliberate course corrections, moving with a precision that defied any natural explanation. This wasn't a random rock. Its massive coma, a gas and dust cloud stretching 700,000 kilometers across, pulsed with a steady, repeating electromagnetic signal, unlike the chaotic outgassing of a comet like Hale-Bopp. The trajectory it took was impossibly efficient, using the gravitational wells of planets it passed as if it had a complete map of our system, a feat that takes our own probes years of calculation to achieve. The sheer energy required for these maneuvers, conducted without any visible propellant, suggests a technology that operates outside our known physics. As 3I Atlas carved a path through our asteroid belt with surgical accuracy, it became clear this wasn't an exploration, it felt like an arrival. When physics stopped making sense. Here's where the story takes a sharp turn from a scientific curiosity into a genuine threat. Most objects from beyond our solar system follow chaotic trajectories, their paths dictated by gravity. But 3I Atlas demonstrated something entirely different. Its path allowed it to drift past several planets in ways that maximized gravitational efficiency, a maneuver that reminded JPL engineers of complex gravity assist routes they designed for probes like Voyager. When celestial mechanics experts like Jacques Lascar from the Paris Observatory ran the orbital simulations backward, they discovered something statistically impossible without intelligent intervention. The path of 3I Atlas required navigating through dense meteoroid streams and planetary collision zones with a mathematical elegance that was simply breathtaking. Its trajectory deviated from a purely gravitational path by a measured 0.05 arcseconds per hour. A tiny but constant thrust that had no visible source. It moved like a grandmaster's chess piece on a cosmic board, avoiding every conceivable threat with a precision that suggested either advanced, long-term planning or sophisticated real-time control. This wasn't a random space rock wandering through the cosmos, it was, as some scientists began to describe it, exhibiting piloted behavior. The object that defied reality. When NASA aimed the James Webb Space Telescope at 3I Atlas, the data it sent back challenged our understanding of reality itself. The thermal readings were the first red flag. Instead of chaotic heat bursts, 3I Atlas showed a consistent thermal signature of 250 Kelvin, pulsing with a precision of microseconds. JWST's principal investigator for the observation, Dr. Jane Rigby, noted that the thermal stability was unnatural. Webb spectrography then revealed hyper-reflective compounds that appeared artificial, a material with a near-perfect albedo of 0.98, reflecting 98% of all light, something not found in nature. But the most disturbing discovery was a faint electromagnetic pulse repeating every 147.13 seconds. It matched the signature of a real pulsar, PSRB 1919+21. Yet the object had no magnetic field capable of generating it. It seemed to be mimicking a signal, a form of cosmic camouflage. Webb's infrared analysis also found structural patterns resembling recursive geometric fractals, leading some to float the terrifying consciousness engine theory, comparing it to theoretical concepts like a Matryoshka brain, but on a smaller, mobile scale. The combination of these impossible features in one object moves it from unusual to unequivocally artificial. 2 visitors, 1 terrifying pattern. The mystery deepened significantly when researchers cross-referenced 3 I-Atlas's electromagnetic signature with archived data from Oumuamua. The comparison revealed something that, honestly, sent shockwaves through the scientific community. The exact same 147-second frequency had been detected briefly in Oumuamua's data, a faint 3 sigma detection that was at first dismissed as noise. But here's the thing. The crucial difference was that 3 I-Atlas's signal was a powerful sustained 50 sigma detection, an unmistakable beacon. This discovery, championed by controversial Harvard astronomer Avi Loeb, completely reframed our understanding of both objects. Oumuamua had puzzled scientists, but now a disturbing pattern emerged. The evidence suggested that Oumuamua may have been a reconnaissance probe, and if this theory held merit, then 3 I-Atlas represented something far more significant. Not passive observation but active engagement. It was the difference between a single radar ping and a fully operational surveillance system. Some researchers now theorize that Oumuamua was the lock, and 3 I-Atlas is the key, designed not just to observe but to unlock something, whether buried on our planet or awaiting activation in orbit. When space objects make calculated decisions. The moment we knew for sure we were being actively monitored was the moment it changed course. Just as scientists believed they had mapped its future trajectory, the Very Large Telescope in Chile recorded a subtle but unmistakable 0.05-degree inclination shift, an adjustment of 180 arcseconds. This wasn't the random drift of a comet. The object veered off its projected arc, aligning with a new vector that brought it closer to Earth's orbital plane. To mission analysts like planetary scientist Dr. Sarah Seeger, the implication was clear. This was a conscious decision. The maneuver occurred just 72 hours after the James Webb Space Telescope began its focused spectroscopic analysis, a time frame confirmed by NASA's Deep Space Network that, honestly, rules out coincidence. This inclination shift is an incredibly energy-intensive move, and the action wasn't just responsive, it was almost defiant, a clear message that said, "We see you watching us." The mood at the DSN's Goldstone complex as they tracked this impossible change in real time shifted from academic curiosity to profound alarm. Ancient mathematics from the stars. As if its movements weren't enough, independent cryptographers at the SETI Institute, inspired by the lifelong work of pioneers like Dr. Jill Tarter, uncovered something extraordinary. Using Fourier analysis of the pulse's phase modulation, they found precise mathematical ratios hidden within the signal, the golden ratio, Fibonacci sequences, and the first 100 prime numbers encoded in binary. These weren't arbitrary concepts, they represent fundamental codes that appear throughout the natural universe. The precision of these patterns suggested a level of mathematical sophistication far beyond random cosmic noise. Even more disturbing was the dynamic nature of these signals. The mathematical patterns weren't constant, they changed subtly, reacting to solar activity and even our own radio emissions. Most chilling of all, researchers detected a brief disruption, a single skipped pulse that matched exactly with the moment James Webb first locked onto it. The object appeared to know it was being observed and had responded with a mathematical fingerprint that spoke a language older than human civilization itself. Organic chemistry from beyond the stars. It wasn't just a machine, it was carrying the very building blocks of life. James Webb's detailed spectroscopic analysis revealed its outer shell was coated in complex carbon molecules, and its NIRSpec instrument found evidence of adenine, one of the 4 nucleobases in DNA, via clear absorption lines between 260 and 280 nanometers. What was alarming was the purity and organization of these molecules. Unlike the chaotic racemic mixture of amino acids found in the Murchison meteorite, the compounds on 3 I-Atlas showed a 99.7% levorotatory excess, a homochiral signature that is a smoking gun for biological or artificial synthesis. Astrobiologist Dr. Heather Graham at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center found the conclusion both thrilling and terrifying. The terrifying implication is that if this is a seed ship, its purpose might not be benevolent. It could be preparing the environment for a subsequent colonization effort. The presence of DNA components suggests a biology that might be eerily compatible or dangerously competitive with our own. When Earth responded to the cosmic visitor. The connection between 3I Atlas and Earth became far more unsettling when a classified high-altitude surveillance balloon managed by the U.S. Antarctic program detected something extraordinary. The balloon's instruments recorded a powerful microwave burst at 23.5 gigahertz, sharp and centered precisely above the South Pole. Initially dismissed as interference, its timing aligned perfectly with another angular shift in 3Y Atlas's trajectory. Moments after the burst, seismic stations that are part of the global seismographic network recorded ultra-low frequency rumbles across the frozen continent. These deep, resonant frequencies were a perfect 0.0068 Hz, the exact inverse of the 147-second pulses being emitted by 3Y Atlas. The synchronization was impossible to dismiss as a coincidence. Somehow, this visitor appeared to be influencing activity on our own planet, possibly triggering responses from systems buried deep beneath the Antarctic ice. The object wasn't just passing by, it was actively interacting with Earth in ways that suggested a technological sophistication far beyond our current understanding. The asteroid belt death run. Right now, 3I Atlas is navigating a cosmic minefield, and it's doing so with terrifying ease. Its current path takes it directly through the main asteroid belt, traversing the dense Kirkwood gaps at over 60 kilometers per second. Unlike most comets, which have highly inclined orbits, 3I Atlas is cutting directly through the belt's core. Planetary defense expert Dr. Amy Mainzer, former principal investigator of the NEOWISE survey, noted that its 700,000-kilometer coma is interacting with millions of untracked objects. More astonishingly, minor course corrections have been observed, suggesting it's actively avoiding even meter-sized debris with impossible precision. This avoidance system must be processing the trajectories of over 1.5 million known objects in real time, a feat of computation that dwarfs anything on Earth. Its journey isn't a dangerous run so much as a demonstration of effortless superiority over a hazardous environment, adjusting its path by mere hundreds of kilometers to avoid potential impacts. Rewiring our solar system's neural network. Scientists have now discovered that 3I Atlas's interaction extends far beyond simple gravitational effects. Its complex, dusty plasma envelope is actively interacting with the solar system's magnetic field, creating what researchers are calling an electromagnetic web effect. As 3I Atlas cuts through the inner solar system, it could be generating packets of charged dust that flow along the sun's natural electric currents toward Earth, potentially triggering geomagnetic storms. But the most disturbing discovery is the most recent. Observations from the Allen Telescope Array show that 3Y Atlas has begun emitting a secondary signal, a lower frequency, longer pulse at 700 MHz pointed directly toward the Orion constellation. As SETI astronomer Seth Shostak noted, a signal not pointed at us is infinitely more chilling. Some researchers believe it's calling for reinforcements. Others think it's reporting back on its findings. But either way, one conclusion seems undeniable. This was never just an interstellar rock. This was a node, a probe, a messenger, broadcasting to something else that is still on its way. The universe has sent us messengers, and we are only just beginning to learn their language. The mysteries of Oumuamua and other interstellar visitors remind us that we are part of a vast, interconnected cosmos filled with wonders we are yet to discover. The journey into the unknown continues. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more deep dives into the frontiers of science. Thank you for watching Simply Science. Venus and Earth were born as twins, same size, same rocky composition, orbiting the same star. But while Earth became a blue paradise teeming with life, Venus transformed into a 900-degree hellscape where it literally rains sulfuric acid, and the atmospheric pressure could crush a submarine. The Soviet Union spent 25 years and launched 16 missions to uncover what went so catastrophically wrong on our planetary twin. But here's the shocking part. Soviet scientists may have discovered that Venus wasn't always a hell world. Did you know that Venus might have had oceans for 2 billion years before becoming the inferno we see today? The Soviet obsession begins. While America dreamed of the moon, the Soviet Union set its sights on something far more mysterious. Venus, our planet's twin wrapped in sulfuric acid clouds. In 1961, just as Yuri Gagarin orbited Earth, Soviet scientists were already plotting humanity's first interplanetary conquest. But Venus wasn't just another space race prize, it was personal. Chief designer Sergei Korolev believed Venus held secrets that could revolutionize our understanding of planetary evolution. The Cold War wasn't just about nuclear missiles anymore, it was about who could touch another world first. The obsession began with a simple question: what lay beneath those impenetrable clouds? Early Soviet astronomers theorized Venus might harbor life, perhaps even advanced civilizations hidden beneath its mysterious atmosphere. This wasn't science fiction, this was serious Soviet space policy. Korolev's design bureau started developing the Venera program in 1960, dedicating massive resources to cracking Venus's secrets. Unlike the Americans who focused on lunar missions, the Soviets chose the harder target. Venus was closer sometimes, but its hostile environment made it infinitely more challenging. The Soviet Academy of Sciences committed to not just flying by Venus, but actually landing on its surface, something no nation had ever attempted on any planet. This ambitious goal would define Soviet space exploration for the next 3 decades. Early failures and determination. 7 failures in a row would crush most space programs, but the Soviet Union treated each disaster as a stepping stone to Venus. Between 1961 and 1965, every single Venera mission ended in catastrophe. Rockets exploded, spacecraft went silent, and communication systems failed millions of miles from Earth. Venera 1 launched on February 12, 1961, only to lose contact 7 days later, drifting helplessly through space like a cosmic ghost. The engineers at OKB-1 worked around the clock, rebuilding, redesigning, and refusing to surrender. Sergei Korolev faced mounting pressure from the Politburo to abandon Venus and focus on lunar missions like the Americans. But the chief designer had a vision that went beyond political victories. He wanted to prove Soviet technology could conquer the most hostile environment in the solar system. Each failure taught them something crucial. Venera 2 and Venera 3 in 1965 both lost communication during their 106-day journey, but they confirmed that Soviet spacecraft could survive the brutal voyage to Venus. The real breakthrough came from analyzing what went wrong. Overheating electronics, communication blackouts, and navigation errors weren't just technical problems, they were puzzles to solve. Venera 3 actually crash-landed on Venus on March 1, 1966, making it the first human-made object to reach another planet's surface, even though it was already dead on arrival. This successful failure energized the entire program and proved that reaching Venus wasn't impossible. It just required Soviet stubbornness and engineering brilliance. First atmospheric success. The moment came when Soviet engineers broke through Venus's shrouded veil. Venera 4 didn't just fly past, it plunged right into the planet's atmosphere and spoke back. Launched on October 18, 1967, this daring probe braved blistering heat, crushing pressure, and corrosive clouds for nearly an hour of live data transmission. As Venera 4 descended, its suite of sensors measured temperature, pressure, and chemical composition, revealing a dense carbon dioxide-rich atmosphere with layers of nitrogen and traces of oxygen that shattered prevailing theories of a lush, life-friendly world. Back in Moscow, the room fell silent as telemetry streamed in. Surface pressure hovered around 22 atmospheres, and temperatures soared near 530 degrees Celsius, confirming that Venus was a hellscape rather than a habitable twin. Chief designer Vasily Mishin and his team pored over every kilobyte of data, realizing they had to overhaul heat shielding and instrument cooling for future landers. Yet the true victory wasn't just data, it was proof that Soviet hardware could endure Venus's brutal descent long enough to send home critical science. This atmospheric triumph re-energized the Venera program, validating years of trial, error, and unwavering resolve. The next missions would build on Venera 4's lessons, improving electronics insulation and parachute design to survive even longer. For the first time, humanity saw Venus through Soviet eyes, not as a mythical Eden, but as a ruthless world demanding respect. And with that revelation, the race to conquer Venus transformed from hopeful fantasy into an engineering odyssey. Landing on Venus. Well, the impossible became reality when metal finally met molten rock on another world. Venera 7 achieved humanity's very first successful planetary landing on December 15, 1970, transmitting from Venus's surface for 23 precious minutes before the hellish environment claimed yet another Soviet probe. This wasn't just a landing, it was a declaration that Soviet engineering could, conquer the most hostile planet in our solar system. The spacecraft endured crushing 90 atmosphere pressure and surface temperatures of 475 degrees Celsius, hot enough to melt lead, while sending back temperature and pressure readings that, honestly, rewrote planetary science textbooks. Chief designer Georgy Babakin and his team had to redesign everything after Venera 4's atmospheric success. They strengthened the heat shield, improved the cooling systems, and created a spherical landing capsule that could survive impact velocities of 17 meters per second. The Soviet Academy of Sciences held its breath as weak signals trickled back from the surface, proof that a human-made object was, against all odds, functioning on another planet's hostile ground. But Venera 7 was just the beginning of Soviet surface domination. The mission validated critical technologies for future landers, and proved that Venus's surface conditions, while extreme, weren't insurmountable barriers to exploration. Venera 8 followed in 1972, lasting 50 minutes on the surface and measuring light levels, confirming that photography might actually be possible despite the thick atmospheric shroud. These groundbreaking landings established the Soviet Union as the undisputed master of Venus exploration, setting the stage for even more ambitious missions that would soon capture the first images from another world's surface. First images from another world. History was truly shattered when grainy black and white pixels revealed the alien landscape of Venus. Venera 9 didn't just land successfully on October 22, 1975, it became humanity's first photographer on another planet, transmitting images that absolutely stunned scientists worldwide. The panoramic view showed a rocky, boulder-strewn surface, illuminated by an eerie orange glow filtering through Venus's dense atmosphere, proving that despite the hellish conditions, the surface was surprisingly well lit and, wow, geologically active. Chief designer Georgy Babakin's team had achieved the impossible by designing cameras that could survive 462 degrees Celsius temperatures and 90 atmosphere pressure for over 53 minutes. The images revealed flat rocks scattered across the landing site, suggesting recent volcanic activity and, challenging theories about Venus being a completely molten world. Venera 10 landed just 3 days later on October 25, capturing additional surface photographs from a different location, showing a more mountainous terrain with older, weathered rocks. These groundbreaking images transformed Venus from an abstract scientific target into a real, tangible world that humans could actually see. The Soviet Academy of Sciences released the photographs globally, marking the first time any nation had successfully photographed another planet's surface. Both landers operated far beyond their designed lifespans, with Venera 9 transmitting for 53 minutes and Venera 10 lasting 65 minutes on the surface. The success of these photographic missions established the Soviet Union as the undisputed leader in planetary surface exploration, proving that even the most hostile environments couldn't stop human ingenuity and Soviet determination. The pinnacle missions. Soviet ambition reached, unprecedented heights when Venera 13 and Venera 14 landed within 4 days of each other in March 1982, delivering the most spectacular achievement in planetary exploration: the first color photographs and sound recordings from another world's surface. These twin missions represented the absolute peak of Soviet Venus mastery, with each lander surviving over 2 hours in conditions that would, honestly, instantly vaporize any unprotected human. Venera 13 touched down on March 1, 1982, followed by Venera 14 on March 5, creating an unprecedented dual mission that, revolutionized our understanding of Venus. The color images stunned the world, revealing a rust-colored landscape under an amber sky, with flat volcanic rocks and fine-grained soil stretching to the horizon. But the real breakthrough came from Venera 13's microphone, which captured the actual sounds of Venus, wind howling through the dense atmosphere, and the mechanical operations of the lander itself. These were humanity's first audio recordings from another planet, transforming Venus from a silent, distant world into a place where you could literally hear the alien environment. Both missions conducted advanced soil analysis using X-ray fluorescence spectrometers, revealing that Venus's surface composition resembled Earth's oceanic basalt, suggesting similar geological processes despite radically different evolutionary paths. Venera 13 operated for 127 minutes while Venera 14 functioned for 57 minutes, both far exceeding their designed lifespans. These pinnacle missions marked the golden age of Soviet planetary exploration, proving that with enough determination and engineering excellence, humans could not just visit other worlds, they could see, hear, and analyze them in extraordinary detail. Balloon missions and program end. The final act of Soviet Venus dominance came not from the surface, but from floating through the planet's hellish atmosphere. Vega 1 and Vega 2 released revolutionary weather balloons in June 1985, creating the first and only atmospheric observatories to drift through another planet's skies. These innovative missions, represented a completely different approach to Venus exploration, as the Soviet Academy of Sciences realized that long-term atmospheric monitoring could reveal secrets impossible to detect from brief surface landings. Each Vega balloon floated at 54 kilometers altitude for 46 hours, carried by Venus's fierce 100-meter-per-second winds while transmitting atmospheric data and tracking the planet's mysterious circulation patterns. The balloons revealed that Venus's middle atmosphere was far more dynamic than expected, with powerful convection currents and chemical reactions creating a constantly shifting environment. Chief designer Vyacheslav Kovtunenko had designed these balloons to survive pressures 75 times greater than Earth's surface, while maintaining radio contact across millions of miles. But even as the Vega missions achieved this atmospheric triumph, the Soviet Venus program was quietly ending. Economic pressures, the Chernobyl disaster in 1986, and shifting political priorities under Mikhail Gorbachev forced the cancellation of future Venus missions. The Venera program officially concluded after Vega 2 completed its dual mission to Halley's Comet in March 1986. After 25 years of relentless innovation and 16 successful missions, the Soviets had conquered Venus completely, landing on its surface, photographing its landscapes, recording its sounds, and even floating through its atmosphere. No other nation has matched this planetary exploration legacy. American and Japanese missions. While the Soviet Union dominated Venus for decades, other nations finally entered the game with radically different approaches. NASA's Magellan arrived in 1990, armed with revolutionary radar technology that stripped away Venus's cloud cover and revealed the planet's hidden surface in unprecedented detail. This wasn't just another space mission, it was a complete reimagining of how to explore Venus. Instead of crash-landing probes for brief surface glimpses, Magellan spent 4 years in orbit, methodically mapping 98% of Venus's surface using synthetic aperture radar that penetrated the dense atmosphere like X-rays through fog. The American approach revealed massive volcanic features, impact craters, and tectonic activity that Soviet surface missions had only hinted at. Magellan's radar maps showed that Venus was geologically young, with most of its surface less than 800 million years old, suggesting catastrophic planetary resurfacing events that completely transformed the world. Japan's Akatsuki mission launched in 2010, focusing on atmospheric dynamics and climate evolution using infrared cameras and radio science. These orbital missions complemented rather than competed with Soviet achievements, proving that Venus exploration required multiple strategies. While the Soviets mastered surface operations and atmospheric probes, American and Japanese missions excelled at global mapping and long-term atmospheric monitoring. Akatsuki discovered mysterious atmospheric gravity waves and confirmed that Venus's rotation is actually slowing down, adding new mysteries to the planet's already complex story. Together, these international efforts created the most complete picture of Venus ever assembled, building on the foundation that Soviet engineers had courageously established decades earlier. Mysterious discoveries. Strange signals and unexplained phenomena have haunted Venus exploration since the very first missions. But the most intriguing mystery emerged when Soviet scientists detected phosphine gas in Venus's atmosphere during Venera missions in the 1970s and 80s, a discovery that wouldn't make headlines until September 2020, when Earth-based telescopes confirmed its presence in the planet's cloud layers. Phosphine on Earth is almost exclusively produced by living organisms, making its detection on Venus one of the most tantalizing hints of possible extraterrestrial life in our solar system. The mystery deepened when researchers reanalyzed decades-old Venera data and found additional anomalies, unusual chemical signatures in the atmosphere's middle layers, unexplained temperature variations, and electromagnetic readings that didn't match theoretical models. Soviet atmospheric probes had detected these anomalies but dismissed them as instrumental errors or contamination. Modern analysis suggests these readings might have been humanity's first indirect contact with Venusian chemistry that defies conventional understanding. Even more puzzling are the dark patches visible in Venus's ultraviolet images, mysterious features that appear and disappear in the planet's upper atmosphere. These patches absorb UV radiation in ways that sulfuric acid clouds cannot explain, leading some scientists to speculate about aerial microorganisms surviving in Venus's more temperate atmospheric zones. NASA's recent interest in returning to Venus stems partly from these unresolved mysteries that Soviet missions first detected but couldn't fully investigate. The phosphine controversy continues to divide the scientific community, with some arguing for biological origins while others propose exotic chemistry or geological processes that Earth has never experienced.
Journey to Venus simulation.
The ultimate Venus mystery isn't what we found there. It's what we could become if Earth follows the same path. Modern climate scientists use Soviet Venera data as a terrifying roadmap for Earth's potential future, studying how a planet with oceans, moderate temperatures, and possibly even life transformed into the hellish world we know today. Computer models built from Venera atmospheric readings suggest that Venus experienced a runaway greenhouse effect approximately 4 billion years ago, when solar radiation gradually increased and water vapor trapped more heat, eventually boiling away the planet's oceans forever. NASA's Goddard Institute uses Venera temperature and pressure data to simulate how Venus's climate spiraled out of control, providing crucial insights for understanding Earth's own climate sensitivity. The Soviet atmospheric measurements from the 1970s and 80s remain the foundation for these models, proving that those brave missions weren't just exploration, they were prophecy. Venus's current state represents Earth's potential fate if greenhouse gas concentrations continue rising unchecked. But the story doesn't end with doom and gloom. Future missions planned by NASA, ESA, and Roscosmos will build directly on Soviet achievements, using advanced rovers, atmospheric laboratories, and sample return missions to unlock Venus's remaining secrets. The Soviets proved that Venus could be conquered. Now humanity must decide whether to learn from its lessons or repeat its mistakes. Every Venera mission was ultimately a journey through time, showing us both our planet's possible past and its potential future, written in sulfuric acid clouds and molten rock. The Soviet Union's journey to Venus proved that humanity can conquer even the most hostile worlds through determination and brilliant engineering. From Venera 1's first attempt in 1961 to the final Vega balloon missions in 1985, these pioneers gave us our first glimpse of another planet's surface, and unlocked secrets that still guide climate science today. Venus remains our most important teacher about planetary evolution and Earth's potential future. What other cosmic mysteries do you think we should explore next? Don't forget to subscribe to Simply Science, hit that bell icon for notifications, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your curiosity drives our next adventure into the universe's greatest secrets. A rare visitor from deep space is flying through our solar system, and this one is, honestly, mind-blowingly mysterious. 3I Atlas came from beyond our solar system, making it only the third confirmed interstellar object ever discovered. But, new data from NASA and international observatories suggests this ancient traveler might be something far more extraordinary than just another comet racing past the sun. The breaking discovery. On July 1, 2025, astronomers using the NASA-funded Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System telescope at Rio Hurtado, Chile, made a breakthrough discovery that would, captivate the global scientific community. They detected a moving object initially designated as A11PL3Z, later confirmed as 3I Atlas, representing the third known visitor from beyond our solar system. This rapid confirmation was achieved through combined efforts of international observers, including the Minor Planet Center and researchers at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. The object's initial detection proved challenging due to its faintness and location near dense star fields close to the galactic center in the constellation Sagittarius. High-precision astrometric measurements soon revealed its distinctive hyperbolic trajectory and extreme velocity, definitively eliminating the possibility it belonged to our solar system. 3I Atlas's discovery immediately energized astronomers worldwide, sparking an unprecedented campaign of rapid, coordinated observations designed to track this rare interstellar visitor while maximizing data collection before it became too dim to observe effectively. This extraordinary find underscores the remarkable capabilities of modern telescopic survey systems in uncovering objects once believed completely undetectable, opening new scientific horizons for comprehensive interstellar object research. The discovery story. Between June 25 and 29, 2025, the ATLAS survey system, composed of 4 powerful telescopes strategically located in Hawaii, Chile, and South Africa, captured multiple critical detections of the newly discovered object, now officially known as 3Y Atlas. The initial observational data appeared as extremely faint streaks against the dense starry backdrop, but gained tremendous scientific significance as coordinated follow-up observations quickly pinpointed its precise celestial path. Simultaneous observations from the Zwicky Transient Facility at Palomar Observatory in California, strongly supported by dedicated researchers like Marco Micheli from the European Space Agency and Daryl Seligman from Michigan State University, helped definitively confirm the object's unbound hyperbolic trajectory, providing compelling evidence supporting its confirmed extrasolar origin. The survey system's remarkable ability to rapidly scan vast areas of sky using advanced wide-field imaging technology proved absolutely critical in detecting this extraordinarily rare interstellar visitor amidst the incredibly dense stellar population near the galactic center, where precise object identification remains notoriously challenging. Extensive archival searches later uncovered valuable pre-discovery observational data dating back to June 14, definitively revealing that this ancient comet had been silently traversing our solar neighborhood for several weeks before achieving formal astronomical recognition and official designation. A stranger in our midst. What makes 3I Atlas truly extraordinary are its unprecedented physical characteristics that, honestly, challenge conventional understanding of interstellar objects. Moving at an absolutely mind-boggling speed of approximately 58 kilometers per second relative to the Sun, this cosmic visitor dramatically outpaces both previous interstellar visitors, Oumuamua and 2I Borisov. Its extreme orbital eccentricity of 6.14 represents the highest value ever recorded for any known celestial object, creating an almost perfectly straight trajectory through our solar system. Initial size estimates suggested the object could measure up to 20 kilometers in diameter, making it potentially the largest interstellar visitor ever observed, though recent Hubble Space Telescope observations indicate a more modest size between 0.32 and 5.6 kilometers. The comet's unusual brightness patterns and early activation, while still 4.5 astronomical units from the Sun, have puzzled researchers worldwide. Unlike typical comets that remain dormant at such distances, 3Y Atlas began displaying cometary activity far earlier than theoretical models predict, suggesting either unique composition or potentially artificial characteristics. Its trajectory alignment with the ecliptic plane occurs with only a 0.2% probability by random chance, raising questions about whether this positioning might be deliberate rather than coincidental, adding another layer of mystery to an already enigmatic cosmic visitor. The predecessors. The discovery of 3I Atlas follows 2 other remarkable interstellar visitors that, really revolutionized our understanding of cosmic wanderers. Oumuamua, discovered in October 2017 by astronomer Robert Warwick at the University of Hawaii, became the first confirmed interstellar object. It measured roughly 400 meters long and had this unusual elongated shape. Its mysterious acceleration patterns sparked intense scientific debate, with some researchers even proposing exotic explanations including possible artificial origins. 2 years later, amateur astronomer Gennady Borisov discovered 2I Borisov in August 2019, which turned out to be a more conventional interstellar comet with typical outgassing behavior and composition. These 3 visitors demonstrate that interstellar objects may actually be far more common than we previously believed, with improved detection capabilities now revealing a steady stream of cosmic travelers passing through our solar system. The objects display varying characteristics. Oumuamua appeared asteroid-like with no visible coma. Borisov behaved like a typical comet, while 3I Atlas exhibits these hybrid features that just don't fit established categories perfectly. This progression suggests our solar system regularly encounters material ejected from other stellar systems throughout the galaxy, providing, honestly, unprecedented opportunities to study the composition and formation processes of distant planetary systems, without needing to mount expensive interstellar missions to reach them. The cosmic journey. 3I Atlas follows a precisely calculated path through our solar system that brings it tantalizingly close to multiple planets during its brief visit. The comet will reach perihelion on October 30, 2025, approaching within 1.36 astronomical units of the Sun, positioning it between Earth and Mars at its closest solar approach. During its journey, the object will pass remarkably close to several planets: 0.19 AU from Mars on October 3, 0.65 AU from Venus on November 3, and 1.8 AU from Earth on December 19, 2025. These planetary encounters offer honestly unprecedented scientific opportunities to study an interstellar visitor using various spacecraft instruments and ground-based observatories positioned throughout the solar system. The comet's retrograde orbit, inclined 175 degrees relative to the ecliptic plane, means it travels opposite to the planet's orbital motion, adding to its mysterious nature. Computer models tracking its future trajectory indicate 3I Atlas will eventually pass 0.36 AU from Jupiter on March 16, 2026, before departing our solar system forever. This cosmic journey provides a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for comprehensive multi-wavelength observations, gravitational studies, and potential spacecraft encounters that could, really unlock secrets about the formation and evolution of planetary systems beyond our own solar neighborhood. A scientific goldmine. The arrival of 3I Atlas presents astronomers with an unprecedented scientific opportunity to study pristine interstellar material using cutting-edge technology that just wasn't available during previous visits. NASA's Hubble Space Telescope captured detailed images in July 2025, revealing the comet's coma structure and dust distribution patterns. The James Webb Space Telescope is conducting comprehensive spectroscopic analysis to determine the object's chemical composition, searching for exotic materials or isotopic ratios that differ from solar system objects. Ground-based observatories worldwide, including the Gemini Observatory and Keck Observatory, are monitoring brightness variations and rotational periods that provide insights into the comet's internal structure and density. Advanced computer modeling allows researchers to simulate the comet's behavior under various theoretical scenarios, testing whether observed characteristics match predictions for natural formation versus artificial construction. International collaboration through organizations like the European Southern Observatory ensures continuous monitoring across multiple wavelengths and time zones. The wealth of data being collected right now far exceeds anything obtained from Oumuamua or Borisov, potentially revolutionizing our understanding of interstellar objects, planetary formation processes, and the dynamic environment between stellar systems. This comprehensive scientific investigation may, hopefully, provide definitive answers about 3I Atlas's true nature and origin before it disappears into interstellar space forever. Unanswered questions. Despite intensive international observation campaigns, 3I Atlas continues to pose fundamental questions that challenge our understanding of interstellar objects and their origins. The comet's exact size remains uncertain due to its surrounding coma of reflective dust, which obscures the nucleus and, complicates accurate diameter measurements. Early estimates range from 1 to 2 kilometers to potentially 20 kilometers across, representing enormous uncertainty that affects calculations of mass, composition, and internal structure. Dr. John Noonan at Auburn University suggests the nucleus is likely on the smaller end of this range, comparable to 2I Borisov, but definitive measurements await future observations. The object's unusual chemical composition, revealed through spectroscopic analysis, contains isotopic ratios that don't match typical solar system materials, raising questions about the stellar environment where it formed billions of years ago. Its remarkably preserved surface state, despite potentially eons of cosmic ray exposure, challenges models of interstellar weathering and erosion processes. The comet's early activation and controlled outgassing patterns differ significantly from known cometary behavior, suggesting either exotic ice compositions or, possibly, artificial regulation mechanisms. Most puzzling is the statistical improbability of its trajectory alignment and planetary encounter sequence, which some researchers argue exceeds reasonable expectations for random cosmic debris, opening discussions about whether 3I Atlas might represent something more deliberate than natural space debris. The alien question. The possibility that 3I Atlas represents artificial technology rather than natural cosmic debris has sparked intense scientific debate, led prominently by Professor Avi Loeb from Harvard University. Loeb, co-founder of the Galileo project dedicated to searching for extraterrestrial technology, co-authored a controversial paper suggesting the object could potentially represent hostile alien technology based on its unusual trajectory and behavioral patterns. His analysis points to the object's statistically improbable path through our solar system, perfect timing for planetary encounters, and controlled thermal emissions as potential evidence of artificial origins rather than random cosmic wandering. However, the majority of mainstream astronomers strongly reject these claims as premature speculation lacking sufficient evidence, emphasizing that natural explanations remain more plausible for all observed characteristics. Critics argue that entertaining artificial hypotheses without definitive proof undermines scientific credibility and promotes unfounded conspiracy theories about extraterrestrial visitation. The debate highlights fundamental questions about scientific methodology when confronting potentially paradigm-shifting discoveries. Should researchers explore all possible explanations regardless of how extraordinary, or maintain conservative approaches that prioritize conventional interpretations? This controversy reflects broader tensions within the astronomical community about balancing open-minded inquiry with rigorous skepticism when studying objects that challenge established models of natural phenomena and cosmic evolution. Observing the visitor. Astronomers worldwide are employing every available technological resource to study 3I Atlas before it fades from observable range forever. NASA's Hubble Space Telescope continues capturing high-resolution images to monitor changes in the comet's coma and potential tail development as it approaches perihelion. The Swift Observatory is measuring water vapor emissions and ultraviolet signatures that provide insights into the comet's internal ice composition and sublimation processes. Ground-based facilities, including the Very Large Telescope in Chile and Mauna Kea observatories in Hawaii, are conducting continuous photometric monitoring to detect brightness variations, rotational periods, and potential outburst events. Radio telescopes, including the Green Bank Observatory, are searching for any electromagnetic emissions that might indicate artificial communication systems or technological signatures hidden within natural thermal radiation. Advanced spectroscopic instruments are analyzing the comet's chemical fingerprints across multiple wavelengths, comparing isotopic ratios and molecular compositions with known solar system materials and theoretical predictions for interstellar objects. Amateur astronomers using sophisticated backyard telescopes are contributing valuable time series observations that fill gaps between professional facility scheduling. This unprecedented global observational campaign represents the most comprehensive study ever conducted of an interstellar visitor, potentially providing definitive answers about 3I Atlas's true nature and implications for our understanding of cosmic intelligence and planetary system evolution. Dawn of a new era. The discovery of 3I Atlas marks the beginning of a revolutionary era in interstellar object detection and analysis, fundamentally transforming humanity's understanding of our cosmic environment. Dr. James Davenport emphasizes that upcoming facilities like the Vera Rubin Observatory are expected to revolutionize detection capabilities, with projections estimating dozens to hundreds of similar discoveries during its operational decade. This technological advancement will enable comprehensive statistical studies of interstellar object populations, their frequency, composition, and origins, providing unprecedented insights into galactic dynamics and planetary system evolution throughout the Milky Way. The European Space Agency's JWST Spectroscopy Division continues developing new analytical techniques specifically designed to distinguish between natural and artificial characteristics in future interstellar visitors, preparing for potential discoveries that might challenge fundamental assumptions about cosmic intelligence. Advanced computer modeling and machine learning algorithms are being developed to rapidly process vast amounts of observational data from multiple sources, identifying subtle patterns and anomalies that might escape human analysis. International cooperation frameworks established during the 3I Atlas investigation will serve as templates for coordinated responses to future discoveries, ensuring maximum scientific return from these rare cosmic opportunities. The broader implications extend beyond astronomy, potentially affecting planetary defense strategies, exobiology research, and humanity's philosophical understanding of our place in a universe that may be far more dynamic and populated than previously imagined. As 3I Atlas continues its journey past the Sun, it leaves behind more questions than answers about the true nature of interstellar visitors. Whether this ancient cosmic wanderer represents natural debris from a distant star system, or something far more extraordinary, its discovery has opened new frontiers in astronomical research. The truth about 3I Atlas may reshape our understanding of intelligence in the cosmos. Keep exploring with Simply Science. Like, share, and subscribe for more cosmic revelations.